Hello for another week, and the question I want to pose to you straight off the bat is, how much is a sale worth to you? Which coincidentally is the title of my most recent article. As always, the link is just down below. But before you go ahead and click it, I'll give you a quick run through of the 5 points that I make in this article and why I shared these particular avenues. So obviously, if you have an online business presence, you'll appreciate just how much easier it is to do business, not just with your local community, but with the global community. But even so, even despite these changes in communication technology, there are still a few basic areas that you want to be focusing on. So the first one is social media. Now, this should be fairly self-explanatory, but social media is basically word of mouth on steroids, to quote copywriting coach Bernadette Schwerdt. So where once upon a time you had to actually go out and meet people face to face or go door to door or do cold calling, social media amplifies that times 10 or even more. So you want to have a presence on all the major social media pages, so Facebook, LinkedIn, especially for professionals. Maybe you have a Twitter account, Instagram, whatever. You want to be regularly communicating with your leads and with your existing customers and just with people who are interested in following on all those pages and keeping it regular. So if you're a product-based business, do you have a new launch? Do you have new items coming out? What offers can you provide for people who are following your accounts? If you're a service-based business, what projects are you working on this week? Is there a before and after story that you can share with people that shows just how good you are at doing what you do? Maybe you have a happy client or a happy customer who'd love to provide you with a testimonial. That kind of stuff, that social proof, is brilliant for encouraging other leads to make that step and to contact you or a member of your team. So get that one right. Now, number 2, and this one should come as no surprise to those of you who've been watching me for a while, but regular blog articles are also a must. What I love about keeping a regular blog is that not only are you sharing important information from your industry, how-tos and that sort of stuff with your subscribers and with your readers and with viewers on social media, but you're also telling people about yourself. And it helps to create, even if people haven't met you, it helps to create this sense that they understand you and they get where you're from and they get your story. To give you an example, just last night I was watching the recent documentary on Seven, Jimmy Barnes, Working Class Boy. Now, I already knew Barnesy, and I'm sure most of you do, but watching this documentary last night and hearing about the tough times that he had growing up as a kid in Glasgow, first of all, and then in the suburbs of Adelaide, at the end of this documentary, I felt like I knew him on a whole different level. Like, I've never met Barnesy, but after watching this documentary and just hearing him go through his life, I felt again like there was this connection there, even though I hadn't met him. And you don't have to be a rock star for people to engage with you like that. Regardless of what you're doing, regardless of your business, you can do this too. It's just really about remembering a simple formula for keeping blogs, and I've shared those in more recent posts, which you can go back and look at as well. But even despite that, if you're not sold on that, I've included some actual data that backs up how effective blogging is, not just for smaller businesses, but for the big players as well. And I took my time to research the data for this because I know a lot of figures, they're erroneous at best or just plucked out of thin air at worst. And I wanted to make sure these numbers that I provided could actually be backed up with hard data. And I achieved that, and you can find the link again in the article itself. It's titled Some Real Numbers to Make You Rethink Blogging. And I strongly suggest that you have a look at it if you're still not sold on the actual per numbers efficiency of blogging and what that can bring to your business. So number 3 is your email database. And I'll confess that I was a bit slack with this in the earlier years of my business because I didn't see the point of sitting down to craft an email when so many of the emails, I'd say at least 90% of the emails popping up in my inbox, I just straight away dismissed to the trash can. And what was the point in sitting down and taking the time to put together an email for my database if people were just going to dispose of it? So it wasn't until I spoke to a couple of people, a couple of other professionals, and they said, oh no, you've got to be keeping an email database. And they sold me on the effectiveness of it. And now I don't just send out emails to my subscribers, but I do it for clients as well. And the beauty is that you can provide a link to your latest blog article, or maybe you're watching this video because you're a subscriber to my database. But there are many different things that you can do with your database. You don't just want to be selling to them, but you want to be keeping them updated again. Just think of it as an extension of your social media accounts or your regular blog. And the trick to getting people to pay attention, I've found, it's not just in the title, but it's also in how you're presenting the information. Make it very easy for people to follow your blog post. So no tiny little text and just huge walls of text that go on for lines and lines and lines, because people just disengage straight away. The trick is in the presentation, and that will get more people reading. And I can see this in the results that I've got. I don't mean to brag here, but I've got a pretty good open rate and click rate compared to industry competitors for the emails that I send out, and the emails that I send out for my clients' accounts as well. So again, take a look at that for yourself. It's point number 3 in this article, but I go into more detail there. Number 4, face-to-face networking. Again, at the very beginning of my business, I didn't really see the point in going out and actually physically meeting people and going to business networking events, but I was wrong about that. Because in this day and age, it's so easy to be disconnected, and we live in a highly individualistic society, but we still crave that human connection because we were made for community. And just because technology has changed so much, communication technology has changed so much, in the last 50 years, doesn't mean that we have. It doesn't mean that our basic human needs have changed. The principles of selling haven't changed. We still want to do business with people that we trust and people that we feel that we understand. And this is what I was touching on when I was talking about blogging just a minute or two ago. I've again included an article here which goes into more detail about the fact that despite all the technological progress we've made, that for a lot of us, we're lacking something. People are lacking something. They're lacking that real connection and that real sense of purpose. And it just comes back to that feeling of disconnection. And we can be different. We can stand out from that because we're made for community. So we should be getting out. We should be meeting people. If you're not part of a business networking group, I'd encourage you to go along to a few different meetings and find one that suits you. Or even just go along, even once a month to a business networking breakfast or a dinner or whatever. And just meet people and give your cards out and let people find out who you are, because doing that, you become a 3D presence. And when that happens, people, again, feel like they can trust you and they're more likely to do business with you. It's an age-old principle, but it's still as effective as ever, even now with all the different outlets available online to market your business. So take a look at that again for yourself. If you've got some time, take a look at the article as well, because it's a really interesting article. But yeah, if you're not getting out and meeting people, start doing it. Now, to round out this list, number 5, and this one should be fairly self-evident, it's your website. Your website is the terminus for all your other marketing communications. So your social media account, your email database, your business cards, your communication with your leads and your existing customers should all lead back to your website. And your website should answer just a few important questions, and it should be very easy for anybody who visits your website to find this out. First of all, who you are. Number 2, what do you specialize in? And number 3, why people should get on the phone to you or order or send an email or contact a member of your sales team. Why should they be doing that? You get that right and you have your regular communications online leading back to your website, and you've got a much more effective strategy to be generating new leads and generating new sales. It might take a bit of time every week to be doing this, but again, how much is a sale worth to you? Is it a 3-figure question? A 4-figure question? Maybe it's a 6-figure question. Whatever it is, ask yourself, how much is an individual sale worth to you? And if taking action on just one of these areas could be bringing 1 new sale per week into your business, would it be worth it? That's before we even think about the possibilities if you're regularly taking action on all 5 of these areas. How many extra sales on average per week could they be bringing you? So that's something for you to think about today, guys. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do so already to continue getting great information like this. Share this video, as always, with anybody you think it could benefit. But good luck with it. And if you need a hand with any of this, I'm happy to talk with you. Just send me an email or even give me a call. Those links are provided for you. Take a look at the article for yourself, guys. Otherwise, I'll talk to you all again very soon.